On land, Terry Luxemburger's wheelchair has given him mobility since polio paralyzed his legs at the age of 4. But out there, he doesn't need it. I am Jean-Michel Cousteau. When Terry entered the surface a moment ago and swam to a favorite dive site offshore there was no well-intentioned attendant at his side, only his dive buddy, his able-bodied brother, Jerry. Remarkable, yes, but unprecedented, no. Although Terry challenged the power of these breakers entirely on his own, he was guided by this knowledge of the sea and by the superior diving skills he learned as a student of the Handicapped Scuba Association. The rest of Terry's class is about to embark upon an adventure in the freedom of the deep. What personal challenge must handicapped people overcome to scuba dive? What does the thrill of such an accomplishment feel like to someone who has not walked in years, or perhaps not at all? No different than for you or me. The experience is the same, and it is this perception that makes the Handicapped Scuba Association and its program so unique since 1975. It is what has taken the wheelchair out of the wheelchair sports for these courageous men and women. It is the vision and purpose of the story you're about to see. These beach entry dives are difficult for most divers, handicapped or not, and doing them right requires plenty of training that begins in the swimming pool under the watchful eye of program director Jim Gattaker.
Jim began diving 10 years ago while recovering from an injury to his right arm. He is the prime mover behind the Handicapped Scuba Association. In these HSA classes, handicapped and able-bodied students are taught together, mastering the same aquatic skills. Jeff Richcreek, injured 5 years ago when an industrial accident paralyzed him from the waist down, pursues his love of the sea. Kim Butler finds that scuba diving adds dimension to her marine biology studies. A stroke when she was 2 years old paralyzed the right side of her body. For ex-paratrooper Ed Ramirez, paralyzed from wounds he received in Vietnam, scuba diving satisfies his quest for adventure. Norm Anderson. Polio at the age of 10 hasn't stopped him from becoming an advanced scuba diver or from helping Jim teach the current class. Terry Luxemburger says diving is the most exciting thing he's ever done, a statement that inspired his younger brother Jerry. Now they go sea venturing together. Ken Force. Accidental injuries while in the service left him paralyzed from the chest down. He likes traveling, especially if diving is included in his getaway plans. The students learn in the pool how to cope with real-life situations that demand sound judgment and decisive action. Now, far into their training, these students confidently practice the exercises they'll need as scuba divers. Kim performs a diving basic, removing and clearing her mask. Dropping his weight belt, Terry makes an emergency buoyant ascent, emphasizing the importance of self-rescue. Norm assists Ken for a simulated out-of-air emergency, sharing a regulator while swimming to the surface. Another complicated exercise calls for Eddie to rescue an unconscious diver from the bottom of the pool. He does it expertly, proving that disabilities don't necessarily hamper one's effectiveness. After surfacing with the victim, Ed positions him, applies ventilations, then tows him to safety. Now they're ready to test these skills in a more demanding environment, the Pacific Ocean. Early Saturday morning, Jim assembles the class on a Laguna Beach bluff overlooking Divers Cove. Scott Eckholt, blind since the age of 10, prepares his own equipment, guided only by what his hands can feel. For handicapped divers, there aren't any standard ways to reach the beach. Some, like Terry, manage on their own. Others with different injury levels need assistance. On the beach, students review the life-saving techniques they'll soon practice in the sea. Ken and Ed leave their wheelchairs behind and scoot sea lion style toward the water. Jeff and his dive buddy Pete Stark, an ex-Special Forces medic, pause for a moment to survey ocean conditions. These waves often break with surprising speed and intensity. But the divers can use such factors to help them enter and exit the turbulent surf. Rescuing an unconscious dive buddy is a difficult but essential exercise. Each student must locate a simulated victim, then quickly supply life-sustaining ventilations and tow him to safety. Here, Scott, who cannot see, relies on his remaining senses to successfully perform this critical exercise. Each rescuer performs with confidence and precision, an undeniable demonstration of pool time well spent. Later, the class dons scuba gear and completes their beach training with a surf entry. Maneuvering through the breakers, they head toward open water. A spirited HSA class gathers on deck prior to their certification dive at Catalina Island. To enter the water, some handicapped divers use the swim step, while most prefer a forward roll at the gates. On the surface, Jim dispenses a few last-minute reminders before his students start their ocean checkout and marine life orientation. They drift down to a reef, their first up-close look at the ocean floor. Peter Spielman, injured in a surfing accident, calmly replaces his mask. A difficult task, especially for someone like Peter, a quadriplegic with limited use of his arms and hands. A buddy-breathing ascent ends the checkout, and the divers are free to begin exploring the rich environment surrounding them. The expedition over, they return to the boat, fully certified scuba divers. Each celebrates graduation his own way, spending a reflective moment as the sea view heads for home, or dozing through the breathtaking blaze of a California sunset.
Okay, remember, Terry, all I want is some air. I haven't got enough money to buy anything else. Don't let me buy nothing.
Okay.
That's why I brought you with me. Come on. All we want is some air. That's about it.
Can I see your certification card? We're having a sale today if you want to look around a little.
Oh, maybe.
Hey, check this out.
Look at the new style face mask. Hey, check out the snorkel.
Look at this gauge sail. This is neat. And look at these dive bags.
Boy, I'm getting tempted.
This is really fantastic.
Look at the price on this flag.
Hey, Ed, now all we have to do is go down and buy a boat.
Let's go.
2-day charters like this one to Santa Cruz Island aboard the dive boat Truth offer opportunities for a variety of diving experiences that not only challenge a diver's skill, but his thirst for adventure as well. They also provide ample time to experiment with advanced equipment, like Terry's diving propulsion vehicle, or innovative accessories like Pete's webbed swimming gloves. Entering a majestic kelp forest, they take note of the topographical features to use in orienting themselves during the trip's highlight, a night dive. Typical of their evolving awareness within the ocean realm, one diver carefully uncovers a well-camouflaged abalone. By now, Terry is proficient with his scooter and swims circles around his able-bodied brother. Jim briefs the class before they plunge into the sea's liquid night. Silently, almost invisibly, resembling astronauts in outer space, they penetrate the gravity-free atmosphere of inner space. The mysteries of the deep appear all the more mysterious when cloaked in darkness. Gliding along, their lights shine upon a strange metropolis of swaying kelp and foraging sea life. No one knows the Colorado River better than Max Groom, an engineer with the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation. He's promised the HSA a ride they'll never forget through the spillway system of Hoover Dam. Water cascades down an overflow portal and into a tunnel buried deep within the canyon wall. Max's powerboat rockets towards a half circle of light where the tunnel empties into the Colorado. In a moment, these divers will shoot this churning stretch of water, Ringbolt Rapids, that travels seawards at speeds up to 15 miles an hour. Propelled by fast currents, they become part of the river, tumbling and bubbling delightedly rudderless over large boulders and into 60-foot chasms. Their jubilation undisguised, the divers surface and reboard, all the while mentally mapping their next destination. On the Golden Doubloon, 3 miles out from San Pedro Harbor, advanced HSA divers prepare for a deep dive on the wreck of the Olympic. Diving here requires critical planning. The 258-foot steel hull of this venerable ship lies in 100 feet of water. Built in 1877, the Olympic was once a stately merchant vessel, triple-masted, square-rigged, that sailed between England and India. But in 1940, she was sunk by a Japanese freighter. A ghostly figure now, her encrusted wreckage forms an artificial reef, home to an abundance of marine life, including a carpet of strawberry anemones and a myriad of fleeting fish flashing silver through the waveless deep. Time, at this depth, quickly runs out, and soon the divers must return to the surface. Even though this adventure is nearly over, many more await discovery, not only by these experienced dive buddies, but by future students of the Handicapped Scuba Association.
Kim, what motivated you to go scuba diving and what did you get out of the experience?
I wanted the challenge of a new experience and a new kind of adventure.
In nature, complete dependency or independency does not exist. Everything interacts within a constantly changing environment. And this process is as observable in the world's societies as it is in the world's oceans. Not many years ago, for instance, no one would have thought it possible for paraplegics and even the blind to participate in an adventurous sport like scuba diving. But times change and we change with them. Having a physical disability isn't the same as being disabled. Failing to make this distinction, we leave out the most important ingredient in human achievement, the desire in each of us to strive for the best we can be. Everyone lives in an age of opportunities and technological advances, and yet our most marvelous and moving experiences are still those victories of will and spirit against seemingly unsurmountable odds. The kind of victories exemplified by the divers of the Handicapped Scuba Association. So, did you go to the Colorado River dive?
Yeah, I enjoyed it very much. It was probably the most exciting thing I ever did in my life. Going down to the bottom of the river and getting caught in a whirlpool. Going darker and darker, and I looked at my gauge and I was at 60 feet. And then I spun back out again and went on down.
Really? Is that the most memorable dive that you've had?
For me personally, it is the most memorable dive because we were allowed into areas that were totally restricted to the public. We saw things that just normal people don't see, and of course the dive itself, going through the rapids, the speed of the water